It's a great honor to be here. So, and I want to thank, I want to introduce very briefly, that will be introduced later, but today, to take away a weekend, shows you how important it is for us to have outreach to the Hindu American community and to come here and address you today. We have General Cast from the Air Force, Congressman Chris Stewart, now head of the Committee on the Present Danger. Just very briefly, Modi, I found out about Modi and started studying him when I met Shali back in 2013. And he talked about this new politician who was really a nationalist and represented the nation of India and the Indian people. And at the time, we interviewed him at Breitbart, and they talked about him being the Reagan of India. But in 2014, when Modi won, was just about the time that Donald Trump started to go to the early stages of these what called cattle calls that start to the candidates start to go around and meet the activists. And it was in 2014 in New Hampshire that Donald Trump really started to make his impact on the activists in the Republican Party, the exact same month that Modi was elected. And I could see that Trump had so much in common with Modi. They believed in the nation state. They believed in their citizens. And they believed that the way a democracy should work is not to kowtow to the globalists, but to focus on its citizens and its nation. And in that regard, Modi and Abe and Donald Trump are all very, very similar. Donald Trump, it was to reach out to Shali when I took over the campaign or stepped in as CEO. I think we were 12, 14, 16 points down. But one thing I knew we had to do was bring everybody together. We had to bring the Republican Party together. We had to bring traditional Republicans together. We had this populist base. We had evangelicals. We had conservative Catholics. We had the gun owners. But we had to bring everybody together because the odds were very much stacked against us. We had very little time. What Shali recommended was that the Democratic Party had basically lost interest in the Hindu Americans, had taken that vote for granted, and that if somebody would actually start to address their concerns, particularly entrepreneurs and the workers, that he thought that a great bulk of the Hindu Americans actually vote for Trump. People have to remember when we had this event, which was of all the big Trump rallies we had, was actually, if not the biggest, close to the biggest, but certainly the wildest, right? It was Bollywood come to the Trump campaign. So you took his rallies down in Bollywood. It was fantastic. But you have to remember when it happened. It happened in the middle of the Billy Bush situation, where most of the Republican establishment ran for the hills. And it was people that really supported Trump that hung in there. And Shali, they had the event, everybody showed up, and it was great. And if you know Shali, I did get bait and switch a little bit at the end when he wanted President Trump to put on traditional Indian garb. I said, hey, I think it's going to have to be the red tie and the white shirt and the blue thing. So, but the turnout was tremendous, and we wouldn't be here today, right? And President Trump wouldn't be president if groups like Shali's had not pulled together in the 88 days against Hillary Clinton in the machine of the Democratic Party. We're here today, and this is the reason that we're here. Shali approached me, Frank Gaffney and Brian Kennedy, General Cass, Congressman Stewart, others that are very concerned about America's place in the world. Frank and Brian Kennedy restarted this group, which you'll hear more about today, the Committee on the Present Danger. And it was during the Cold War when we had kind of lost our focus. The elites had lost their focus on the Soviet Union. And we were able to kind of be the backbone of the Reagan administration. And Reagan really wanted to see the destruction of the evil empire. And as Shali said, it's freed over 1 billion people in Eastern Europe and other parts of the United States. And honestly, I think even in India, give a new breath of fresh air of what freedom could actually be for India when the Soviet Union collapsed. The same thing has happened over the last 20 or 25 years regarding China. It's not about the Chinese people. These are decent and hardworking people you're ever going to see. But this is about this radical cadre of the Chinese Communist Party. And so what we've done is, Frank and Brian, we've gone throughout the country to Wall Street into Washington, D.C. and given kind of seminars or had conferences. And Shiley came to me and said, hey, I would like to talk to the American people about manufacturing. And Shiley had a presentation at the Breitbart Embassy, and then he gave one at Capitol Hill as part of the committee and really woke people up about what's really going on in American manufacturing. What I'm proudest of today is that we're here, and the title of the presentation about unrestricted warfare is about the demise of American manufacturing. And we're doing it with a group of Hindu American entrepreneurs who really built one of the great industries in this country, PCB board manufacturing and assembly. And you guys came over here you went to engineering school, we didn't have anybody give you capital, nobody give you a break, you did it with your own entrepreneurship, your own grit, your own determination. And the question gets to be, how did this industry just kind of disappear? How did it become from $70 billion where it is today? It's the same policies of Wall Street and the elites in our country. And that's what we're here today to talk about. But what I'm proudest about, you have Hindu American entrepreneurs that came here and helped build this industry. And the name of the presentation is American Manufacturing, right? It shows you the greatness of the assimilation process and what the Hindu Americans have added to this country. So with that, we're going to have a full presentation. I'll talk to you a little bit later.